Welcome to Face Off. I'm Hi-Rez Bart. Yesterday, had a little bit of an issue with that Mecha Geb skin.
Yeah, that's right. My name is Drybear, and I don't think anyone's ever going to forget that memory deleted.
First topic we're going to launch into here today, Drybear. Bastet balance changes coming in the recent patch. Is she still first pick, first ban worthy, or even viable in competitive play?
Honestly, I think she is.
Okay.
She didn't really change all that much. Now, previously what happened before is that, she had panels for 4 seconds after she landed. She was able to jump back inside of CC. The clarification is important here because you can get CC'd before, then you can jump back during that CC. You're safe to return anytime you wanted. Now the situation is she can't do that for the last 3 seconds, but the first second she's full CC immunity. As soon as she lands, she can do whatever she wants in that first second without being interrupted. That's the biggest thing is you drop the cats down, you throw in the razor claws, you throw the burst damage, the dots there. You have a lot of control, and no one can stop you from doing it. Although you could retreat, your offense was limited because you'd be knocked up, you'd be slowed, you'd be stunned, you'd be prevented in some way, and now it actually helps her a little bit more of a side grade on that one. I think she's still first pick, first ban material.
Okay, so, I'm going to say that she's probably still first pick, first ban. Definitely banned, maybe not picked. I don't think teams are going to want to play against her. I'm not sure how strong she actually will be. I do think that the nerf was effective. I mean, you're looking at the primary things in this nerf: increased cast time on the number 2, less base damage on the number 2, and Pounce now has the 1 second of CC immunity, as you were saying. So what this means is that with the increased cast times, you can't dump really reliably more than 1 spell safely. Granted, you can still get in, get out, and cast 1 spell. Sometimes that's all you need with Bastet. In fact, often it is because of how the cats operate. They chase you down and they chain slow you. But I'm not sure that it's going to be enough for her to really retain that first pick spot, which is interesting. I think she's the kind of god that probably will be banned out, but not picked very often when she gets through as a first pick, maybe later on in the drafting stage. Definitely a candidate for those second banning phases. We'll see where she does end up. Will she be another Zeus is kind of the question, where you see nerfs kind of roll in over time, and it ends up just being, he's still the best.
Honestly, I think she's going to be just as good as she was before. I don't think this changes a whole lot. I think you can actually get 2 spells off. I disagree with the 1 spell. If you hit it hard, the timing's there.
0.35 plus 0.35 is 0.7. That's pretty tough.
That's all you need.
But let's move it on.
Team Dignitas.
To Team Dignitas.
That's right. All right. Dignitas has been winning. They're the highest seeded team in the world, 200 points total. They've won 2 weeks in a row. Can they keep it up?
Well, it's not the first time we've seen a North American team be the #1 seeded team overall. Cognitive Gaming did it last season. Now, can Dignitas win out, I think is the question there. Dignitas, best North American LAN team, best LAN team probably in the world in terms of experience plus ability to perform under pressure. As long as the pressure isn't inside their heads, it's actually from the audience. It's not from, maybe a little bit too much shenanigans. But, I think that I'm going to give them 2 or 3 weeks at most to continue winning before they do get knocked off by one of the contending teams. I think SMITE looking really good this season, looking like they can beat some people, but looking like SMITE, right? Just kind of like up and down, left and right, not consistent. But for Dignitas, I'm going to say their experience will carry them another 2-3 weeks before someone knocks them off.
I think if we're ever going to agree on something, we're agreeing on the fact that SMITE is doing very well. But I think Dig definitely has this for quite a while, longer than 3 weeks, definitely. I mean, obviously they learned a lot at the launch event. They learned a lot at the lanes they've been playing. They've been playing for a very long time. COG, the team that was undefeated in the qualifiers previously, they're just knocked out. They could be. I think they are.
Are they the new COG?
I think they are.
Do they win 10 weeks?
I think they win at least 8 weeks. I'm going to go further than 3, at least 8 weeks total. 8 of the 10. Totally locked in. I think Dig has it this time around. They've been practicing and preparing, and obviously they're taking it more seriously. Of course, with the best now, it's starting to finish school off.
That's right. Yeah, going to be summertime.
Have things around. Zapman taking less risks. One of those things. I think they're really realizing what they need to be the best team in the world, and they're kind of coalescing into that now. Obviously, with the first 2 weeks, we've shown that. 2 weeks in a row, MVP. Both weeks, it was MVP Dignitas.
That's okay. Fair enough. Well, that does take us into our first game here. It's going to be fill in the blank, Drybear.
Fill in the blank.
I'm going to destroy you.
False.
All right, Drybear, let's fill in some blanks.
Let's do it.
Fill in the blank. Norse gods in week 2 were.
Norse gods week 2 were polarized. Loki doing very well for Team Dignitas. Great counter to Agni, as Lassus has always played him. Shing not so much. And Fenrir for Andenster, not really performing. Plus, Game Hunter's solo Thor, not looking very good. 1 really good performance, 3 poor ones.
Norse gods were terrible. Absolutely the worst thing we've seen.
You didn't like that
saw
Loki
Game
play?
Hunter. No, Game Hunter with the Thor and the solo lane, he was pushed to his tower the entire time.
Yeah.
Fenrir didn't make a big difference. Loki was a big, big failure. Terrible.
I thought it was pretty good versus Agni.
No.
Fill the blank. Beck says is blank for Bloody Tech.
Fexes is essential for Bloody Tech. He is the core of the team. He's carrying the team. A lot of good players on that team, but Fexes shines like a diamond in the sky.
He absolutely does. Fexes for Bloody Tech, he is crucial. He is the number one reason why Bloody Tech is doing anything right now. Every single time you see them lose, he is positive, 8-2, 7-1, 11-2. He is always winning his lane, even when his team is losing, and that right there is
that
the crucial
main
aspect.
man mayonnaise.
He's the main drain.
Yes, sir.
Fill in the blank. A top 3 finish is blank for the Game Changers.
Top 3 finish for Game Changers is impossible.
Ooh.
I think that they definitely have a lot of talent, but the players on that team have not proven themselves to be effective players in the history of SMITE eSports. I think they have a lot of holes in the team. I think they have a lot of separation in how they play, and I think that top 3 finish is impossible.
I'm going to say a top 3 finish for the Game Changers is imminent. It is coming. It will be in the next 2 weeks. They will make it into the top 3. I think it has a lot to do with luck. I think it has a lot to do with where they get seated. If someone gets matched up against Snipe and knocks them out early, let's say that you have maybe the 5 Angry Men get a win against one of the current top 3 teams, I think the Game Changers has the edge there and they'll make it in. I think that'll happen in the next 2 weeks, imminent.
Okay.
Fill in the blank. Cognitive Gaming's performance so far has been?
Cognitive Gaming's performance so far has been messy. Absolutely messy. They've come out strong. Obviously, they got into the finals last week. They've been performing okay, but I think the Jeff Hinla element that was supposed to come out and shock the world hasn't even existed. No one even is paying attention. No one even speaks the Cognitive Gaming name anymore.
I would say that Cognitive Gaming's performance so far has been expected. Coming off of really the honeymoon period of their big qualifier season, then losing in LAN, got to be a tough loss to get. You know, you come in as the #1 touted seed, haven't lost, and then you don't perform that well in the LAN. Then you pick up a great player and you're trying to put it back together. Expected that they would be a perennial second place finisher in this qualifying season so far.
Well, that concludes Fill in the Blank. Bart, up next, TSM and Smek. He's been performing very well. MVP last week. Can he keep doing it?
Can Smek keep up the performance? I think, yeah. I think Smek is one of those players that has been playing at this level pretty much for about the last 3 years. One of the very first, in fact, the first European hunter to win a LAN tournament back when he used to play with Sayo the first time in Paris. And I think that he's always been the kind of player that plays this very consistent game. He not really the player you point to say he revolutionized his gameplay, although he did try to build the Stack City build a few times. But he does kind of build these, but that kind of indicates to you what kind of player he is. He's confident enough and consistent enough that he can build multiple stacking items and still win games, and he'll build Transcendence often in tournament play. A little bit of the block, the rock for that. Any team that he's on, in fact, very, very solid. And I think, yes, he will continue this performance for years to come as long as he's a pro player.
I think Smek is the element that TSM was missing. I think, honestly, talking to Smek and talking to Young Bay was more of like, hey, we just like these people better and swapping over. But the way Smek has been playing these last 2 weeks is mind-blowing. The last week, he was the dominant force for TSM, driving every single point. And the biggest thing about TSM is they all have great players. They have everything kind of playing together. But when it comes to the mid and late game, when you have that big smack from Smek coming in, the big smack coming in there,
big smack
coming from above, honestly, it makes that big push, allows them to end the game early, which is exactly what they want. We know Smek was one of the first few people to play Cupid. He's one of the first few people to kind of revolutionize the Neath, although Game Hunter, when he used to play Hunter, played Neath a lot, but Smek really drove that Neath home, and he's always been playing very well, and I think he's going to continue doing it. He's definitely a fantastic player, and TSM needed him. Yeah,
Smek and Young Bay definitely kind of being the forefront of the always on her style of Hunter play, where it was on her or bust. All damage, all the time for Smek, and it seems to be working out for TSM. But that's going to do it for us for this week on Face Off, guys. However, we do have some great tournament play this weekend. Saturday, noon Eastern Standard Time will be me and DM. Why don't you tell them about Sunday?
Sunday is going to be 9 a.m. Eastern on the Smite Game channel with myself and our newest caster, Hindu Man. Come by and check him out. He's definitely doing a fantastic job. And you also want to watch Smek from TSM like we just talked about. They'll be on Sunday.
And we'll see if Dignitas can keep winning from North America. For Drybear, I'm Hi-Rez Bart. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.